Hello students. In the last class, we discussed the arrival of different European powers in India. Among these European powers, the British established their power in India. Different governor generals contributed their role for the establishment of British power in India. In this class, we learn the impact of British role in India. Now we learn Dalhousie's policy of annexation. Dalhousie, he adopted different policies for the expansion of British imperialism in India. He adopted 5 policies of annexation. First one, annexation by war. Second one, annexation due to doctrine of lapse. Annexation on pretext of mismanagement. Annexation on pretext of debt collection. Annexation to end a namesake rule. Annexation by war. He annexed the states like Punjab and Lower Burma. Through doctrine of lapse, he annexed Satara, Jaipur, Sambalpur, Udaipur, Jhansi, Nagpur, etc. Doctrine of lapse means if any king died without natural heir, their kingdom was annexed to the British Empire. Third one, annexation on pretext of mismanagement. By this reason, he annexed Oudh. Annexation on pretext of debt collection. As a part of subsidiary alliance, Nizam was not able to pay the salaries to the British army, so a part of Nizam's province was captured, annexed by the British. Last one, annexation to end a namesake rule. By this reason, he annexed Karnataka and Tanjore. Thus, he adopted the policy of annexation for the expansion of the company and British imperialism in India. Now we learn about the important years and events of this chapter. First one, 1453. The Turks captured Constantinople in 1453. As a result of this, the Europeans were forced to discover new sea route to India. In 1498, Vasco da Gama discovered a new sea route to India. In 1600, the British East India Company was established. In 1757, the Battle of Plassey was fought between Siraj-ud-Dowla and Robert Clive. In 1764, Battle of Buxar was fought between the British Mir Jafar, Nawab of Oudh, and the Mughal Emperor Shah Alam. In 1773, Regulating Act was passed by the British Parliament. According to this Act, the post of Governor General was created. In 1799, the Fourth Mysore War took place between the British and Tipu Sultan. In 1853, the first railway line in India was laid between Bombay and Thane. In 1857, the first war of Indian independence was fought, and this first war of Indian independence was known as the Revolt of 1857. These are the important years in this chapter. 1453, the Turks captured Constantinople. 1498, Vasco da Gama discovered a new sea route to India. In 1600, British East India Company was established. In 1757, Battle of Plassey was fought between Siraj-ud-Dowla and the British. And in 1764, Battle of Buxar was fought. 1773, Regulating Act was passed by the British Parliament. 1799, Fourth Mysore War. In 1853, the first railway line between India and Bombay. between Bombay and Thane. In 1857, the first war of Indian independence. Now we learn about the economic impact of the company's rule. British rule in India produced both positive as well as negative impact. On looking and analyzing the 100 years of company's rule, we can say that before the arrival of the British, India was one of the richest and prosperous countries of the world. But during the British rule, India remained a country that used to produce raw material for England and served as a market for goods produced in factories of England. Under the subsidiary alliance system and dual system, the British got the power. Through subsidiary alliance system, the British expanded their British Empire in India. Dvimukhi Shasan, otherwise known as dual power policy or double government. According to this, the British got the power without responsibility, and the Indian rulers, they had to bear all the responsibilities without any power. This is known as dual power policy. This dual power policy the British got after the Battle of Buxar. According to this dual power policy, the British got the power without responsibility, but at the same time, Indians got the responsibility without power. Bengal was the largest exporter of cotton, cloth, raw silk, sugar, jute, muslin, etc. But as a result of subsidiary alliance system, it was ruined economically. The unfair revenue collection policy of the company made the Indian peasant a debtor. The British government imposed unfair taxes on the Indian cloth industries. They adopted various inhuman practices and ruined the prosperous Indian industries. As a result, the Indian industries completely collapsed. The Indian artisans, they became poor and unemployed. The company traders forced the weavers of Bengal to sign contracts for providing definite quantity of clothes within a short period. If the weaver refused, he would be beaten severely or even jailed. Before the arrival of the British, the Indian villages were self-reliant and prosperous, but under the British rule, they became dependent and poor. These were the negative impact of company's rule. Before the arrival of the British, India was one of the richest and prosperous countries of the world. But during British rule, India became a place to produce raw material for England and a market for selling the products produced in England. Subsidiary alliance system and dual policy. Because of this, Bengal ruined economically. The unfair revenue collection policy made the peasants a debtor. Then the British government imposed unfair taxes to the Indian cloth industries. Indian artisans, they became poor and unemployed. The Indian villages, they became dependent and poor. These are the economic impact of the company. Now we learn the positive impact of the company's rule. Though the British raised certain facilities for their benefit, but all these facilities helped in modernization of India. These facilities were First one, the railway line between Bombay and Thane was established by the British East India Company. Wireless communication was established in India. Steamer service between India and England was started. Ports of Mumbai, Madras and Calcutta were developed. These were the positive impact of the company's role. The first railway between Bombay and Thane was established. Wireless communication, steamer service between India and England, establishment of different ports like Mumbai, Madras and Calcutta. Now we learn the social impact of the company's role. During the British administration, several newspapers were started by Indians. These newspapers helped in raising the spirit of freedom of speech and thought among the people. Before the arrival of the British, various social evils existed in India. Rituals, evils, rites and rituals existed in Indian society. For example, sati, female infanticide, child marriage, etc. With the help of Britishers, strong social reformers like Raja Ram Mohan Rai, Durga Ram Mehta managed to pass laws to ban these systems. The British used to conduct their administrative works in English, so they wanted to create Indians, those who understand English language, and to work in the British offices in India. So they made efforts to impart English education to Indians. Lord Macaulay, a British officer, made a lot of effort for this direction. Now, the establishment of universities. Charles Wood recommended to establish universities that would give English education in the cities like Mumbai, Madras and Kolkata. This resulted for the rise of a new class of Indians with English knowledge. As the time passed, this group started demanding social reforms from the British. This gave momentum to the process of reforms. So the important social impact, first one, newspapers were started, laws were passed to ban social evil customs like sati, female infanticide, child marriage, etc. Sati means if the husband died, the wife was forced to jump in the funeral fire of the husband. This evil custom is known as sati. British made efforts to impart English education to Indians. Due to the recommendation of Charles Wood, universities were established in different parts of India, especially in Mumbai, Madras and Calcutta. A new class of people with English knowledge rise up in India with the effort of British. These were the important social impact of company's role. Next, we will learn about the East India Company came to India being allured by the prosperity and trade opportunity. The company's rule produced certain good and bad results in the political, economic, social and cultural fields. The company adopted the policy of making England prosperous at the cost of India, and the reforms they make in the administration for their own interest indirectly proved to be beneficial for India. So the reforms made by the Britishers ultimately proved beneficial to India. Now we recall what we learned. First one, Dalhousie adopted the policy of annexation for the expansion of company and British imperialism. Dalhousie was a reformist and an imperialist. The British rule in India had created positive and negative impact upon Indian economy. English educated people in India demanded social reforms and give momentum to the process of reforms. The policy adopted by the company to make England prosperous proved beneficial for India. Thank you.